Gilbert.
Thank you, Margaret, and thank you, Jose Guilherme, for coming here in this series. We are friends, and we have a long history of working together. We were together at the World Bank. We also have a parallel in having an experience at the Brazilian government. And Jose Guilherme Reis is one of the best economists that I know, and on trade. He, as you aptly said, he was the manager the of the global trade manager at the World Bank, and he was also a lead economist there. And Jose Guilherme and I, even wrote several pieces on trade and on the Brazilian economy and so on. So I couldn't think of somebody better to come and talk to us about what's happening in all this new stuff. See, what happens is that, now, as we saw in references by the IMF managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, when she spoke at the Davos meeting, she was referring to risks of geoeconomic fragmentation due to the war in Ukraine. We had a discussion here on the multiple shocks that have impacted the global economy. One of them, the possibility of such a fragmentation of the global economy, particularly take into account the rivalry between the United States and China, and the alliance between China and Russia, and so on. So this talk about West-East division in the global economy, including some sort of end in reversal of globalization. Now those narratives have become louder. This is something that has been going on after the global financial crisis in 2008, because there was and there is this belief that globalization and the transfer of jobs, manufacturing jobs to Asia, would be responsible for the difficulties of progress faced by middle and low income classes of some advanced economies. And this feeling culminated in electoral victories of populist leaders like Trump, for instance, and it was also an important factor behind the victory of the Brexit campaign and so on. Those who were able to take advantage of this sentiment about this anti-globalization backlash. And then we had the pandemic and the vulnerability to shocks attributed to globalization during the pandemic, with the disruptions in global supply chains. This added another argument in favor of the reversal, as we discussed here in the first session. On the other hand, we can see that there is some resilience in trade. Suffice to look at how fast foreign trade recovered since 2020, and even despite the fact of the maintenance of the continuity of supply disruptions, the trends toward enhanced trade among countries remain strong. Well, but now we have seen is not only rhetoric. Last week I was in an investment forum of Amundi, the big asset manager, the French asset manager, the largest one in the Eurozone, and the meeting ended with a talk by Miss Hillary Clinton, and her speech was on China. It was on alluding to the need exactly to take measures so as to separate, to delink US from China, the Western economy from China, and so on. So I was amazed because it sounded like Trump. So this uh, this trend or this political drive is something that is bipartisan. For instance, in the United States, and it will have implications. On the other hand, and we'll have Jose Guilherme exactly dealing with that. I myself, I'm a strong believer that this reversal will be partial, and in the sense that it will be related to particularly technology intensive sectors. It will definitely have semiconductors in the core, as well as data processing, and they will be mostly related to let's say sectors relevant from the standpoint of national security and so on. Not, we will definitely watch an aggravation of interventionist policies and protectionist policies, and a play with respect to some key technology segments. As I said, semiconductors is an obvious case. It's not by chance that President Biden had easily bipartisan support to his bill on semiconductors, but also everything related to data processing, and we were watching as well some this ramping up in the case of China, and I see this as a broader tendency. So we will have not deglobalization, in my view, probably, or at least only in relative terms, but then we'll see probably a greater degree of regionalization, a slower pace of globalization, while at the same time, the trend towards globalization will get speed, probably in the case of service, because of the possibilities opened by technological advance. And but geopolitics is at the core, uh, including when it comes to the key inputs for the new technologies. Key inputs, I mean minerals. Some key minerals. Probably you will watch a new round of strong geopolitical force, geopolitical disputes in order to guarantee access to key minerals and so on, starting, as we were saying, in the case of Russia and Ukraine. Anyway, let me hand over to Jose Guilherme, and Jose Guilherme will definitely lead us through a discussion on all the all the subjects. Great, Jose Guilherme. Please come in.